Welcome to your entertainment, science fiction, programming network, your entertainment, sci-fi programming network. And today we say, hello, ohayo gozaimasu, zao an, zao shanghao, bonjour, buenos dias, and welcome. So tonight, July 3rd, you go to sleep excited. You're anticipating the parade in Highland Park, Illinois. That's where you live, in Highland Park, Illinois, on July 4th. And you're anticipating the parade because you know it's going to be great. It's going to be exciting. And not only that, you're part of it, right? You're walking in it. You're not just the observer in this parade. You're going to be part of it. So it's exciting and you're looking forward to it. The next morning, July 4th, you wake up, you're happy, you look for this event to happen, and as you're washing your face, you look in the mirror, you look down, you rinse the water off your face, the water's dripping off your face, you get back up, look in the mirror, and something says, something's not right. Something's off today. You feel like it's off today. And it's not something you ate that's telling you that, because you haven't eaten yet. You just woke up, right? It's your senses saying, stay home, relax, don't go out. Something's off out there. Don't go out. But you think, how do I know something's off out there? I haven't been out there yet. So what can be telling me that something's off out there? So you go to the parade. You forget this thought, that sense that kept saying, don't go. You forget about it. So you go out. The music's great. People are dancing. You're dancing. Everybody that didn't know each other from the day before now are best friends. And you're all involved. Walking, dancing, the music. And then there's a loud bang. What was that? Then another loud bang. Then somebody falls down. Shots fired, shots fired. People right next to you are falling down. You pick up the person nearest to you that fell down and you run for shelter. And as you run for shelter, all these shots are going off until the shots calm down. Then you look up from behind the shelter and you're thinking, something told me not to go. Something's off. Stay home. That sense, that voice, it's coming back to you now. A sixth sense, intuition, your spidey senses, and you wish that you would have listened. So how do we tap into that sense, that intuition? How do we make that voice strong, sound loud, so that we listen to it, so that we follow it? You're a superhero. Remember that podcast? We talked about it. Now, if you missed that podcast where we talked about you being a superhero, having superpowers, enhancing those powers, go back. If you're watching on YouTube and you're listening on YouTube, go into TheAquaPhi Podcast episodes and find those 4 podcasts that we talked about your superpowers and enhancing those superpowers. And when you're in there, make sure to like, subscribe. And another thing, make sure to comment. We have thousands of people that listened, a few people liked, and nobody comments. So make sure to comment. First, you subscribe, and then you hit like. After you hit like, then you right underneath the like on YouTube, You'll see like underneath the likes, and you'll see it says comment. After you hit like, then put down whatever you want to say. But first like it and then say whatever you really think. So any comment is great. Put down your comments. Positive comments are better, but put down your comments. We appreciate those. All right. And also go into TheAquaPhi.com. And in TheAquaPhi.com, you'll find this novel that I wrote called The Aqua Phi. And purchase your novel. You'll read about people like you and I that's using their abilities, enhancing the abilities that they have to go against some major woes and great attacks on their lives. The adventure begins in the Aqua Phi. Beautiful cover, front and back, easy to read. You'll enjoy the reading of it. Fascinating. It's about life under the water. And we talked about that in other podcasts also, this novel. So go into the aquaphi.com, purchase your novel. Once you're in aquaphi.com, purchase the merchandise that goes along with the novel. Just like this poster that you see here. There's merchandise that goes along with this poster. And you can have your t-shirt, this poster. You can have your teacups, coffee cups, mugs, all sorts of merchandise from the Aqua Phi. Follow us on all the podcasts that we're on. Go into Anchor and you'll see Google Podcast, Spotify, Apple, Overcast, whatever podcast you see us on, make sure to follow, to subscribe, to like, and if there's a spot for comment, make your comments. So you're a superhero. And in that sense, tells you something's wrong. Now, as a superhero, you tapped into this sense. Something's wrong, and you're listening to it. So you live in Highland Park, Illinois, and you're anticipating this parade that you're going to be on the 4th of July. The 4th of July parade comes and something says to you, something's wrong. You tap into it as a superhero. You go to the parade. You go with the mindset of something's wrong. I've got to look for this wrong problem. And you look around until you're in the parade, you're walking, and then you see something shimmering on the roof. What is that? What could that be shimmering on the roof? So as a superhero, you run up to the roof. You come behind someone who's putting their rifle together. You apprehend the person, overcome them with your super speed, super strength, superpowers, and you prevent millions of lives. Well, a few lives. A few lives is just as important as millions of lives. So we may as well say millions of lives. Could be one, could be two, could be 20 or 30, but those are lives, and they're just as important as millions, right? So using your super abilities, you apprehend and you prevent catastrophe and the loss of life. We need to tap into our senses, and that's how we're going to survive mass shootings, making our senses stand out. Something's telling us something's wrong. Remember in the September 11, 2001, this wife told her husband, do not go to work. She insisted, I feel like something's wrong. My senses telling me, my intuition is telling me. That sixth sense that something's wrong. Don't go to work. He worked in the Twin Towers, or one of the Twin Towers. He didn't listen. And you know the rest of the story. Here's my personal experience. I'm driving on the highway, and I'm in a lane where you need to get off in order to get off the highway. And I need to get off at the next exit. So, I look in my rearview mirror, I look in my side view mirror, I look in my blind spot, and I see nothing. But this side of my face is on fire. That side of my face is like it's burning. It's saying to me, something's not right. Don't change lanes. But I look again and I'm looking and I can't see anything. I see nothing except the side of my face is getting hotter and hotter. So I slow down. My exit's coming and I got to get off. But I slow down. And when I slow down, a low ride motorcycle, similar to like a Kawasaki Vulcan S, goes right by me. Now, if you imagine if I didn't pay attention to my spidey senses or this sixth sense, that intuition, if I paid no attention to it, and I went over to change lanes, and that low ride cycle, that Vulcan S kept on spinning and going and going. And a person riding a bike is not inside of a car. There's no protection. So how far would that cycle keep rolling, and how many bones broken until the cycle finally stops? You're a superhero with children, and you're taking your children to school in Uvalde, Texas. By the time that you get to the school in Uvalde, Texas, nobody's entered the school building yet. Everybody's outside, and something's telling you what it's not telling anybody, but your senses is telling you that something's wrong inside of that building. So you tell everybody, stay outside, and they recognize you in the neighborhood as a superhero. So you say, stay outside. Your children stay outside. You go into the building because you tapped into that sense. You walk around the building and you see some flashes, something's going on. There are gunmen inside of this classroom waiting for the children and teacher to come in. You jump into that classroom, you got your band on. Remember that last podcast that we talked about having your band and your bulletproof vest, bulletproof bands on. You got your super strength. If you missed the past podcast, go back and listen to it, right? The Aqua Phi Podcast episodes on YouTube. Like it, subscribe, and make your comments about that. So you jump in there, bullets don't phase you, you apprehend all the gunmen, and you prevent untold amount of children and teachers from getting murdered. You're a superhero, and you're walking to the grocery store in July 2014. As you're walking to the grocery store in July 2014, police officers pull up to the store. They look inside the store from their car. They're sitting in their cruiser looking inside the store. And as you're walking, your senses are alarmed and your senses say, something's not right. It's their stare, the way they're staring inside. Something's just not right. Now, sometimes you can prevent things or bad things from having people getting killed and so forth by just using techniques like stalling, for instance, right? You see the police officers in their cruisers and you go up to the police officers and you say, good day, officers. And officers, they like that when you say, good day, good day, officers. And then you ask them a stalling question like, what's it called if someone's dog keeps barking all night long, just barking and barking, and nobody can sleep all night long? What is that called? He barks every night. Well, the officers might say to you, it's called disturbing the peace. Disturbing, that's it. It's disruption of the peace. So how do I report a disruption of the peace? And then they tell you, well, disturbing the peace, this is how you report it, and so forth. And then you say, well, officers, can you officers come and arrest that dog? Officers Daniel and McPherson. You look at their badges and you say, Officers Daniel and McPherson. Now it kind of throws them off a little bit because now you know their names, whatever it was that they were about to do. So from their name tags, and then by that time, the store is empty. No one's left inside of it. And Daniels and McPherson drive off. No violence occurred, and no telling what would have happened if you didn't tap into your senses. You didn't follow your intuition, your insight, your spidey sense. The list of shootings and violence is incomprehensible. Incomprehensible, the amount of shooting and violence. Elementary schools are getting shot up. Middle schools, high schools getting shot up. Students and teachers shot up. Grocery stores, supermarkets shot up. Movie theaters shot. Parades, concerts shot up. Is there a place we missed that we not mentioned somewhere? That's shot up too. Everywhere is getting shot up. So it's time that we enhance our senses. Our senses is what's going to keep us alive. Read into your intuition. Make it sound loud and clear. Not a small voice, and you keep going, but loud and clear. That's how we're going to stay alive. And I'm not talking about. I'm talking about your senses, your spidey senses, your intuition. I'm not talking about being suspicious, right? There's a big difference between being suspicious and your gut feeling, your intuition, your sharp senses, right? Suspiciousness it leads to hatred, leads to violence, leads to killings. Like suspiciousness, you say, is that an Asian there? Is there an Arab? Does he have a backpack? Did he blow up the airport? Yeah, so suspiciousness leads to violence. But on the other hand, our strong senses will keep us alive. So tap into our strong senses. Write your comments on YouTube. Right? Make sure you like, subscribe, and put your comments. Purchase your novel, TheAquaPhi. Go into the TheAquaPhi.com. Purchase your novel. Purchase the gear that goes along with your novel. As superheroes, you see lots of awful things. People hurt, people dead, many atrocities. You got to lift off a lot of debris that nobody else can lift because you have superpowers. Underneath the debris, we see so much. So, seeing all this as superheroes, how do you keep from losing your mind? How do you keep from PTSD, schizophrenia? Let's talk about that on our next podcast.